I once worked with a young man when I used to work in home healthcare, and the advice that I had told him is the same advice that I think I should have taken myself. I think we've all been there where we want to be at the top. We want things given to us immediately and instantly. We don't want to work for them. We want it, we want them to be given to us without taking any real regard of really appreciating the value of that said item or life or thing. So one day when I was working with this individual, I had brought him to the little uh, state fair, I guess you could say. And he had become really upset because he happened to see his sister there, and he couldn't understand why he was living with his family still. He couldn't understand why he didn't have a job or a car or a license. Basically, being independent and learning those basic life skills that everybody else has. I mean, you know, it is what it is. Um, but he became very upset, and I had then brought him back to his place where we had a conversation. And I let him calm down for a little bit. And I said, "You really want to be at the top, don't you? You want a car, you want a job, you want to be on your own, you want to be basically independent, right?" And he goes, "Right." And I said, "Well, what if all those things that you want were given to you? Would you know how to take care of them? Would you appreciate it?" Or he's like, "No." And I'm like, "Probably not, because then you'd be really overwhelmed because you're not sure what you're going to do. You know, you want to be at the top, and you don't want to be at the bottom. You want to be automatically here. But in order to get to the top from the bottom is you got to work your way up." Now, imagine that if it was a ladder and you're climbing up and one of the leggings on the ladder broke. And now you're starting from the bottom up again. And you're going to make mistakes over and over again. It's just you got to have to learn how to overcome those mistakes and avoid those mistakes in order to reach the top. Such as, I think we've all been there where, financially we are not able to keep up with our finances because we're spending our money on things that we don't need. So then we have to learn how to save on money. We have to learn how to be mindful of the money and be mindful of our circumstances rather than what we automatically want. That reminds me of the time that I worked with another individual where I had to remind him of saying, is this an item that you want, or is this an item that you need? Do you really need this item? Because I don't really think you do. But I kept my opinion out of it. But anyways, long story short, this young man really appreciated the advice that I had given him. Now, this would be the same advice that I would want to take myself. Because throughout my whole life, I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to be a counselor, a social worker, a pastor, a minister. I wanted to do my own courier service. I wanted a job back with the Postal Service. I wanted to work for UPS. I wanted to do all these things. I wanted to make something of myself. And to be quite honest with you, I've had a lot of losses in my life. I've had a lot of, rejections, failures, setbacks. But those setbacks don't define who we are as a person. Those setbacks shouldn't define who we are as a person because it's in the past. If we want to live and to achieve a better life, we have to work for it instead of waiting for it, because it's not going to be given to us if we don't work for it. Does that make sense? And one of the pieces of advice that my mom has given me so far since I've known her is just to do it. If there's something that you want, go do it. Just do it. Work at it step by step. And eventually these things will come in time. It's like my photography. I want to work in photography and videography and really do a good job at it. But over the time that I do this, I'm going to learn the skills and the proper ways of doing these things, because, eventually I'll get better, and this is probably some place or direction that God wants me to do and take. Now, tonight, when I was at my brother's house, having supper with him and his family, he had mentioned that, I mentioned to him that, there's certain things that I want to do, such as this. And he mentioned, well, if you don't do it, you don't know. If you don't try it, you won't know. And this is what I'm doing. I'm trying it. So, anyways, I want to pursue something like this and continue to pursue it and see where this leads, because I'm very interested in doing this. This is something that I like doing, and I'd like to continue to do and to see where it goes. It's just like my pin paling when I did a letter to Blue Man Group. I sent a letter out to Blue Man Group just to see what would happen, and I got a major response from them, and it was a tremendous response and very surprising responses as well. So like these videos and like my photography, I'm doing something different just to try it out to see where it leads. Because if we don't take on those opportunities, if we don't take risks, if we don't take those chances, we'll never know where it will lead us. Instead, we will decide that, well, it's safer to be stuck inside than anything else and working a 9-to-5 job and getting nowhere in life. God wants us to be pursuant in life. He wants us to enjoy life at the fullest. He wants us to focus our attention on Him and to just really continue moving forward without having to let all the letdowns and setbacks get us and weigh us down. Because that's what Satan wants us to do. Because Satan knows that if he can weigh us down with depression, worry, and anxiety and fear, we have nowhere else to go. But if we fight for what we want, such as for me in the photography and videography and all this other things, Satan has no ground. Because I'm doing this not just for me, but I'm doing this for God. To let people know that all hope is not lost. That there is still room to grow. And that, you can do all things if you just choose a different way how to do things. Does that make sense? I hope it does. But anyways, this has been the second vlog that I wanted to do. And I'm hoping that it goes quite well. So it's about 6 minutes long. But anyways, I wanted to share that story with you because, I think personally we all want to be at the top. We all want to have things given to us instantly. We don't want to wait for them. We don't want to work for them. We just want we just want it now, But we can't have it now because what God tells us to do is He tells us to wait. But He also says to work at it, pray about it, work it in your life, and eventually it will come to you. Because if our focus is so much on getting it now rather than focusing our attention on God and His kingdom and what He wants for us, we'll miss out on the big picture. We really will. My big picture was being a courier, being successful, making a name for myself, having an image for myself. That was more important than God. But God should be the most important person in our life right now, rather than protesting and wanting our jobs back or wanting to have the governor reopen the state of Maine. We must be waiting on God, living for Him daily, and doing what is expected. But anyways, this has been Will for Will's On the Road Photography. This has been another vlog that I wanted to do tonight. Hopefully you guys like it. If you would like to see me do more, I will continue to do more. Again, I just want to do this to see where it goes, see where this will lead, and go on from there. So thank you for watching. God bless. Stay safe. Take care and be well.